The laughter at the family party stopped the moment my sister stood up and raised her voice. "Listen carefully," she said, holding a folder in the air. "As of today, I'm the owner of that house. So pack your bags and get out." For a second, no one spoke. Then the whispers started. "Did you hear that?" Finally, he was living there for free anyway. My sister smiled proudly. Enjoying every second, she waved the papers again. "Lawyer confirmed it. Everything is in my name now." My father kept staring at his plate. My mother looked nervous, but said nothing. My cousins avoided my eyes. The room wasn't shocked. It was entertained. She walked closer to me. "So what are you waiting for?" she said loudly. "Keys on the table. Tonight." Everyone watched me, waiting for anger, for shouting, for drama, but I just stood there quietly, because I had learned something important about noise. People shout when they need attention. They stay calm when they know the truth. She thought I was weak. She thought I depended on that house. She thought silence meant defeat. She didn't know how many repairs I had paid for quietly, how many bills I covered without telling anyone, how many nights I stayed awake fixing problems no one even noticed. She didn't know, and honestly, she didn't care. My uncle laughed softly. "Don't make it awkward. Just move out," like she said. I nodded, not because they were right, but because I finally understood something about family and pride. Some people don't want fairness. They want control. I took a deep breath, picked up my coat, and walked toward the door. No shouting, no begging, no explaining. Behind me, someone said, "Look at him, didn't even defend himself." They thought I had nothing to say. But real answers don't come from arguments. They come from time. Outside, the night air was cold, but my mind was clear. For the first time, I wasn't confused about anyone anymore. I smiled quietly because they believed a paper made them powerful. They had no idea what I already knew. They thought they had won. They had no idea what I was about to do next. I didn't go back to that house. Not that night. Not the next day. I rented a small room near the workshop where I worked. One bed, one table, one window that didn't close properly. It wasn't comfortable, but it was honest. For the first time in years, there was no shouting, no comparison, no pressure to prove anything. Just silence. And in that silence, I started rebuilding. I worked extra shifts, saved every rupee, learned things I had ignored before. Paperwork, property law basics, banking details, business management. Not because I wanted revenge, because I finally understood something simple. If you don't understand what you own, someone else will. Every night after work, I read documents, old receipts, bank transfers, repair invoices, electricity bills I had paid, insurance papers, tax slips, things no one in my family had ever cared about. Meanwhile, life at home wasn't as smooth as my sister expected. The new owner had to deal with leaking pipes, unpaid property tax notices, a broken roof after the rains, and neighbors complaining about parking disputes. Bills started arriving. Repairs cost money. Arguments started. I heard it from relatives who still called me quietly. They're fighting every day. "Your sister says the house expenses are too much. She's asking everyone for help." I never reacted, never said, "I told you so," because proving people wrong loudly is easy. Outgrowing them quietly is harder and more powerful. I focused on myself. Within months, I got promoted at work, started helping my boss manage accounts, saved enough to start a small side business fixing electrical systems in new apartments. Nothing flashy, nothing viral, just steady progress. And slowly, the truth started coming closer. One evening, I received a call from a bank officer asking about an old co-owner verification linked to my grandfather's documents. I stayed calm, sent what they asked, didn't tell anyone. A week later, Another call came, this time from a lawyer's office asking for confirmation about property tax payments made under my name years ago. Again, I stayed quiet because I wasn't planning revenge. I was letting truth walk on its own feet. Meanwhile, my sister kept telling relatives I was gone forever, that I was useless, that the house was finally safe. But she didn't know something important. The same silence she mocked was the silence I was using to prepare. One night, as I locked my small rented room, my phone buzzed again. A message from the lawyer. We need your presence at the family meeting this Sunday regarding the property file. I read it twice. Then I smiled. Not with anger, not with pride, just calm. Because they were still talking about me, and I was already far ahead of them. The meeting was held in my uncle's living room. Same faces, same whispers, same looks of curiosity. My sister sat in the center, confident, holding the property file like before. When I walked in, she smirked. So you came? She said. Good. We'll finish this today. The lawyer cleared his throat and opened the folder. There is one small issue, he said calmly. The house cannot legally be transferred only to one heir because part of the property was already registered under another co-owner years ago. The room went silent. My sister frowned. What do you mean? The lawyer turned a page and spoke gently. The co-owner is him. Every head turned toward me. No shouting, no drama, just truth. My sister's hands started shaking. My father looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time. My mother's eyes filled with tears. The lawyer explained everything, the repairs I paid, the taxes under my name, the documents my grandfather had signed quietly long ago. No one argued, because facts don't need a loud voice. My sister tried to speak, but no words came out. Finally, she whispered, I didn't know. I nodded. I know, I said softly. You never asked. No insults, no revenge speech, just calm. I don't want the house, I continued. I only wanted respect. And now, I don't need even that. I stood up to leave. My uncle called after me. Where will you go? I smiled. Somewhere peaceful. Because silence had already given me something bigger than that house. Clarity about people. They thought I was weak because I was quiet. They didn't know I was simply busy becoming strong. I never moved back into the house, even after the apologies, even after my sister offered to fix everything. Because some lessons aren't about property. They're about peace. My father visited me one evening. No pride, no authority, just quiet regret. We were wrong, he said softly. I didn't argue. I didn't remind him of the party. I simply replied, it's okay. And for the first time, I meant it. The house stayed with them. The responsibility too. As for me, my work expanded. My name carried weight now, not inside family gossip, but in contracts and respect earned outside those walls. My sister sent one last message. You changed. I smiled when I read it. No, I replied. I just stopped explaining myself. They once told me to get out. Now they understood something they hadn't before. I didn't lose a house. I found my worth. Respect is not demanded. It is realized too late.